Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. Today, we are playing in the great outdoors. There's the sky for you. There's my usual mucker Nick over there. We are playing a game of 9th edition today. Now, we could be doing one of these special missions that they've released, but this is us. We're going to be playing Monster Hunter, because, well, why not? So if you haven't seen... This is it. If you haven't seen this type of mission before, there are big monsters, often fantasy monsters, on the board, and we basically hunt them down for victory points, and that is how the game is won. So I shall quickly go through the rules for you. I'm going to pass you over to Nick while I wander over to the other side of the table. We're hoping it's not going to rain today. I've played quite a few games outside in lockdown, but this is the first one we've actually filmed. So, Monster Hunt 9th edition. So, we have set up. Oh, Nick's pointing the camera at me.
Yeah, there we go. Set up the top. You don't get the camera very often.
We set the table. We haven't deployed our armies yet. We'll go through those in a minute. We're going to take turns alternating deploying our units. You'll already see on the table we have 2 monsters, a giant stegodon and a carnosaur. They start in those positions on the table. We score victory points for various ways during this mission. The first is for dealing 1 or more wound to any hunted monster during our own turn. So that is to encourage us to attack the monsters, because we really need to attack the monsters, else the game doesn't work. So you get 1 victory point for doing that on your turn if you deal a wound. You get 1 victory point if you kill any of the monsters, deal the final wound to it, remove it from the table, and you get a victory point for that. You get 1 if you kill the enemy warlord. So that's the only victory point you get from actually interacting with the opponent in this game. And you get 2 victory points if you manage to claim a hunted monster trophy. And to do that, you have to do one of the new special actions from 9th edition called the Claim a Trophy action that we've made up. So basically, if one of the monsters dies, dead monster, he's even lost one of his dudes, and you have an infantry model within 3 inches, everything's blowing away, the wind's picked up all of a sudden.
That's your army list gone.
Yep. If you have an infantry model within an inch, at the end of your movement phase, you can do the action. The action rules are in the new 40k rulebook. They're basically, you can do an action if you do nothing else on your turn other than move. If you shoot, if you advance, if you cast a psychic power, if you charge, then you can't do it. You are allowed to fight back, so say if Nick charged my model, I could fight him back and still complete my action. This action, different actions have different timings, but this action starts at the end of your movement phase and you complete it at the beginning of your next turn. Once you've completed it, you remove the model from the board so nobody else can attempt to claim that trophy, and you have gained 2 victory points. So that is how you gain that and that action. Okay, then we have a few other little bits that we need to go through. Glory of the kill. If you kill a monster, you gain a victory. You gain a command point. Always useful. Late arrival. The first monster that dies, something else comes in at the smell of the kill. So
that one.
Have a giant metal fantasy dragon from the 1990s. He will swoop in and he will appear somewhere within 2d6 inches or 3d6 inches from the fallen over model. We have to do something about this wind. It's obviously only here when the camera's on. Then we have another one, lying in wait. As soon as a model ends its movement within 6 inches of the centre of the table, or within this ruined temple here, then another monster will awaken at the end of that phase. An arachnarok spider will crawl out of the ground from underneath that temple and will be placed there to take part in the game from then on. So we have 2 monsters on the board to start, 2 more that will arrive partway through the game. How do the monsters act, though, I hear you ask?
How do the monsters act?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Nick. So, hunted monsters have a little flow chart they follow. Each monster activates at the end of the opponent or the player's charge phase. So after the player whose turn it is has done all their charges, then each monster on the table reacts. And they have a little flowchart they go through. The first thing is it within engagement range of an enemy unit? If so, it fires all its ranged weapons it has, and then it skips to the end of this phase. Doesn't do any of these other actions, unless it has the fly keyword, because fly monsters can leave combat and such. Did it take a wound this turn? If the monster took a wound this turn, then it will move at its top speed towards the nearest enemy model that dealt it a wound this turn. So if you shoot a monster, it's going to come running at you and attempt to headbutt you. If it didn't take any wounds this turn, then it moves half its movement value in a random direction. We have a classic old scatter dice that we're going to use. Then, after it's done its movement, you check, is there a unit within 12 inches of that hunted monster that it is able to assault? Now, by able to assault, I mean if you've got a flying unit up here, a Stegodon cannot jump up and headbutt it. So it ignores those for this purpose. If it does have a unit within 12, then it fires all its ranged weapons at the closest unit, and then it attempts to charge the closest eligible unit. If there is nothing within 12, it will move another d6 towards the closest enemy unit, but it doesn't get to charge. Okay, so they're basically, if you try and hurt them, they will come towards you and eat you. They get to charge, they get to fight, they fight in every close combat phase. And there's one other rule, which is I don't care which you hit. If I have a model in close combat with a monster, Nick can choose to fire at either of those models, and then he has to roll on a little table, so that every hit he does on the model he chooses, then you have to roll a d6. On a 1 or a 2, that hit is actually a miss because of the swirl of melee. On a 3 or 4, the attack hits a model not the model you're firing at. So if he fires at my dude and he rolls a 3 or a 4 with that attack, then it actually hits this instead. And on a 5 or a 6, it hits the unit he actually targeted. Okay, I think they're all the rules. Not too many for one of our missions.
No.
Let's go through armies. Okay, so we have a new army from me today. Now, you heard that right, a new army. Well, it's a very small new army. The cheapest army you can buy, I tell my wife. And that's actually true, in case she's watching. So we're playing 2,000 points today, which is the new kind of like standard mission, but it's generally a bit smaller than it was previously. Oh, Nick's put that back in the wrong place. Can't he tell the difference between all these shiny gold models? Okay, so I have brought the Adeptus Custodes. So I'm bringing a battalion detachment today, the standard one. I have down here my HQ, so I'm bringing Captain General Trajan Valoris. He's the Custode special character. He's pretty deadly. My actual warlord is this guy on jet bike. I've made him to be nigh indestructible. So he has the Auric Aquila jet bike, which is a 3-up invulnerable save and lets him reroll charges. I've given him the warlord trait, which is gives him a 5+ feel no pain. I can't remember exactly what it's. Superior creation. I've given him the new commander traits, which gives him +2 wounds, and I've also made him a victor of the blood games, which lets me re-roll a single attack, a single wound, and a single saving throw every turn. So he is pretty good, and he's super fast and deadly on his bike. I have a Custode Vexilla here. He's got a Storm Shield. Due to the FAQ GW released, you're still using the original rules for the Storm Shield, which are a 3-up invulnerable save, so you don't get the slight bonus of the new ones as yet. The Vexilla he has is the Vexilla Magnifica, which means if Nick tries to shoot any of the models within 6 inches of him, or any units within 6 inches of him, he gets -1 to his hit rolls. So nicely protected. Then we move on to our troop choices. We have a unit of 5 Custodian Guardians. 3 of them have Storm Shields and Blades, and 2 of them have the Halberds. 1 of them has a Misericordia, which is a tiny little dagger because I had 3 points spare. Then I have 2 identical units of 4. They have 1 Storm Shield and 3 Spear Guys in each. Then I have my biggest hammer unit. I've placed these in reserve because you have to declare that before the game starts nowadays. These are Alarus Terminators. 3 of them have spears, 3 of them have axes. They can drop in and do all kinds of shenanigans. There's so many stratagems that target these guys. I'm really looking forward to using them. And then lastly, I have 3 Custode jet bikes. They are armed with salvo launchers, which are kind of anti-tank missile launchers, which I'm glad I bought looking at Nick's army. And then rounding off the points, because I didn't have enough Custodes, I have 5 Sisters of Silence inside a Rhino. Now, these ones look like they're armed with swords, but I've actually traded them in for bolt guns this game because I didn't have the points left for the swords. And that is 2,000 points of mighty golden warriors. They're not properly painted yet, but at least they've got a bit of shine to them.
And I am bringing a horde of orcs again, as I haven't used them yet since the Saga of the Beast came out just before lockdown.
Yep.
Oh, didn't come out during lockdown. But Gazzy, is the old Gazzy.
He's a bit small, Nick.
New Gazzy's still in painting. So this time, I'm actually not taking Gazgor in my army. This is my warlord. He is a normal war boss.
Just a minute. I'm just taking Nick's temperature. He might have COVID. He hasn't taken Gazgor.
No, I've taken a war boss in Mega Armor from the Warhammer Legends list that you could do. Yep. So he's a lot cheaper. I've been able to give him the new stratagem, so he has +1 wound, +1 attack, and a 4-up invuln save, just like old Gazzy. Yep. And he's also got the Killer Claw, because it comes with a normal power claw, so I've been able to give him the relic, and he's got the warlord trait brutal but cunning, so I get to reroll failed to hits in the first round of combat. I get to the killer claw lets me re-roll wounds, so he's actually quite deadly.
Yeah, he is.
So,
He is very similar to the old Gazgul, in fact.
he is very similar to the old Gazgul. What else have I taken in my army? We have got other HQ choices. We've got a big mech with a shock attack gun. We're going slightly different for my Orc army this time. I'll try experimenting slightly. We're going to have a more shooty army. The other warlord I've got is my War Trike, which he's got a custom job on him, which allows his burner jets to hit on a 12-inch range rather than an 8-inch, and the burner also, I don't have to roll the d6 for how many it does. It's an automatic 6.
Yeah, makes
So
him
that.
burny.
Troop choices, I have got 4 units of Orc boys. 3 of them have got 12 in. This one's only got 11. The knobs don't have power claws. They've only got big choppers.
That's a bit weird, Nick. I don't understand it.
I know. I had to save points somewhere.
Oh.
I've got 2 units of Gretchen, which are going to be in reserve. 1 runt herd, and look, it must be Christmas. The red gobbo has arrived. It's Christmas in July.
Yep.
No, the red gobbo is 10 points cheaper than a runt herd, so I took him.
He does a similar job.
And is an elite choice. So I've taken that. We have got a unit of 5 war bikers. I was going to take knob bikers, but I couldn't afford them, so I downgraded to normal war bikers. We have also, from the Legends thing, taken a Pain Boy on a war bike. So the classic Pain Boy. We've got the Death Dread with 4 Dread Claws. His custom job allows him an extra 3-inch movement and re-roll his advance. So he's got a 9-inch move now and can re-roll. So a potential of 15-inch movement in turn. So makes him
much better for him, I think.
Makes him really good. I want to try to give that a go. We've got 3 smasher guns. So see the shooty bits. So I'm going to give the smasher guns a go. I tried them out in the Apocalypse and I quite liked them.
Yep.
So I've seen them in normal rules. 10 looters, which again I'm experimenting with the looters. I'm not particularly keen on their new points cost. It's 20 points a model for a looter.
That's expensive for a 1 wound 6 up save model.
Yeah. So it's 200 points. That's the most expensive unit in the army.
Go on.
I've got 3 mega knobs. We have got a truck. The truck has got a custom job which gives it an extra 2-inch move as well.
I'm hoping that's called red paint job.
No, it's squig hide tyres.
Oh, okay.
We've got a squig launcher, which is what I'm in the process of doing at the moment. I've just got the crew really left to paint on it. That's got that custom job on that is +1 to wound for the squig launcher and heavy squig launcher on it. And the dragster is back. Now, I've used the dragster a few times and I keep trying to make the 4+ advance, make it teleport. It has never succeeded once yet. This game, however, I'm pretty certain it will, because I've taken a custom job which automatically passes it.
You hope, my friend, you hope.
And I don't have to make a mortal wounds test on it. And I think that is everything for the army. It seems like a proper horde army this time. I've not taken this many models in a long time, I don't think.
Nope.
So let's sort out deployment and see how we go for turn 1.
So you join us after setup. We haven't rolled to see who's going first yet. We're going to do that on camera at the end of this quick setup video. So I have deployed along here. We have a small squad of Custodes. We have my Vexilla, the larger squad, and Trajan Valoris in the centre here. Over here we have Sister of the Silence in their Rhino, another one of the smaller squads, and we have our captain on his jet bike. We have the 3 jet bikes hiding behind this hill, and I have down here in reserve my 6 Terminators. Nick has deployed a wall of green skin, other than these unpainted, unsightly models over here, Nick. So he has his big guns there with his shock jump dragster behind. I'd really like to kill that turn 1 if possible before he gets to jump it, just because he's never got to jump it, and he's played it in about 4 games, but he never does it.
God, you're playing a whole new army. What
I know.
happens to this new stuff?
But he's now taken the custom job, which means he always gets to jump it, so let's hope it dies. Then we have all the biker stuff in the centre here. We've got the shock attack gun up here with the looters. Some boys, the super fast dreadnought, a squig chopper. Then we've got the Mega Knobs in truck with a war boss in armour, and another squad of boys, and Nick has left his Gretchen off the field. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the terrain types we have on the table. So we've got the 2 corner hills. They're just hills, they don't really do anything, but they have a bit of defence line terrain in front of them, which gives them bonuses if they get charged, and gives cover to infantry, beasts and swarms behind it. These type of things down here, now they may look like hills. We're going to cover all of these down here. They are like hills, but this type of hill you can understand following the hill rules for being part of the terrain. It's just a flat surface. Whereas this is more like, we decided, an obstacle. So we made it the obstacle type, which means you can get cover from being behind it and being obscured by it. So just as an example, if I've got a model here that's being shot by somebody on the other side and it can only see my shoulder, I'm within 3 inches of it. Because we've made it an obstacle and it's got the light cover trait, we will get +1 armor save for it. So that's just to let you know how we're using those. This in the center counts as a ruin. It's got one part of it which is more than 5 inches tall. So basically these 4 points of this center ruin block line of sight through it. So if I'm here, I cannot shoot through that. It's a bit of an abstracted rule in 9th edition that ruins do this, but it makes the game more fun because we technically, from this square low bit of terrain with one tall point, we have a giant line of sight blocking bit of terrain in the centre of the table, which makes them much better games. You can happily kind of like walk through it. If you're inside it, you can shoot out, and if you're inside it, you can be shot from stuff on the outside, so it's good that regard. And the last type of terrain we've got on the table are the woods. They have the trait which is either obscuring or concealing. I get the two confused because they basically mean a very similar thing. And that basically means if you're shooting through them to shoot at an enemy model, then you get -1 to hit. So they are the terrain types we're playing with. We're playing with all the other new 9th edition rules. Let's see which of us is going to take the first turn. There's a dice for Nick. Oh, he has one. Nick is the red dice. Nick has rolled a 6, hasn't he, just? After Nick. Let's see if the orcs can kill all the hunted monsters, which is what Nick is going to try and do because he's Nick. Okay, so I hope you can see the table because the sun is really reflecting on the camera. But hey, here goes. Let's go. So Nick, take us through your turn, mate.
Right, my turn 1. I got laughed at by Andy has joined us.
Andy is over there hiding in the corner.
I got laughed at for having a shooty orc army.
He did. We laughed.
So my orc army, I moved various little things and that about. The Death Dread came in here to make sure the spider was going to launch this turn.
Yeah, so he moved in there. As soon as his unit finished a move within 6 inches, the spider appeared. Looks pretty mean and menacing there, but not quite as deadly as it looks make it appear.
So I started off firing various things. Smasher guns did a fair bit of damage.
They did, yeah. You had lots of D6 damage weapons, didn't you?
Yeah, I fired a fair bit into this, and I took out the Stegodon with shooting.
He did
with
shooting to spare as well, it must be said.
It was.
And just to give you an idea of how hard the monsters are, I might stick some stills up of their data sheets at the end. But this guy had 12 wounds, but he halves all damage. He's got a 5-up feel no pain. He's toughness 8. He's got a 4-up armor save. So it's a really tough beast to take down. But Nick managed it with shooting. Well done, my friend. So what did you get for doing that?
I got a VP.
And you got a dragon to appear.
The dragon obviously randomly appeared. Obviously.
He appeared right next to Nick.
Yeah, right in front of the war trike and the bikers. So
yep.
I could have let the dragon shoot at me lots and then move in a random direction.
Yep.
Because it would have done.
Because you hadn't hurt it at all.
No.
And still haven't.
Yeah. But obviously, it was more likely to charge into me. So I charged into it.
You sent your war bikers and your war boss on trike.
Yes. Because of obviously his fire breathy thing he gets to do in charge.
Yeah, monsters get to fire in combat.
Fired and killed 2 bikers in combat.
Yep.
And then in close combat, it ripped the war trike apart.
This was after the war trike attacked him and just bounced off his armour. It's got a 2-up, 5-up, the dragon. So it's a really tough thing to hurt.
Yeah, it's probably the toughest out of all the monsters, obviously.
Yeah, it's certainly got the best saves of all the monsters.
Yeah.
Dragonhide is notoriously tough. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah, it's high elf, so of course high elves.
This is a mighty dragon. This was painted in the 90s, so take a look at that lovely goblin green base down there.
Well, do you mean the same that's on that and on
that? The same as on all the monsters. That's what makes them monsters, Nick.
So obviously the combat in there didn't go down too well. I've gone into combat with the spider, and overall we're shooting from looters and a couple of other little shooting bits. The spider is down to 8 wounds,
which is critical on the spider.
Yes. So his stats have gone down. He's got taken half the wounds down on the spider, and I took no damage in return.
That's it. The spider starts with 9 attacks, 8 legs, and its big punching maw. But Nick has ripped half its legs off, so it's down to 5 attacks, and its strength goes down as well. So it's much less dangerous than it was, and it's excellent versus infantry normally. But the vehicle there is the thing that's dealing the damage, and it's not good at killing vehicles.
And my brain actually screwed up. I didn't do anything to the Carnosaur.
He didn't, and it came towards me slightly.
Slightly. We got to move 4 inches.
Yeah, and it's got to climb down this ziggurat we put it on.
So obviously, yes, and that's a good thing. Obviously, yes, I've got 2 VPs this turn.
No, that was a good turn for you. I think you didn't. Well, the war boss dying was a bit much, but
Yeah, the war trike, yeah, but it's a dragon.
yeah, exactly.
We know what
Okay.
it's like. Jason knows what it's like. It popped up in, where was it, Warhammer World first.
It did. You're right. Okay, so that's your turn done. Let's see what I can do. Okay, it is the end of Custodes turn 1, and it wasn't the best of turns, to be frank. So what did we do? We pushed up. I didn't really want to fight the Carnosaur in close combat because its attacks deal mortal wounds and can just munch a Custode in a hit, which really shouldn't be happening. So I've moved away from that. The central units and the unit over there went towards the centre. They fired their shots at the group in the centre. They fired at the boys, but some of their shots hit the spider, weakened it, and they knocked out half the boys' squad. And then they moved in for the kill. I unfortunately failed a few of the charges. I failed charging here and here with the Vexilla, so I only got in with Trajan and the squad. I attacked with the squad first. A couple of them had to hit boys, so I killed a load of boys, and then the other 3 hit the spider, taking it down to 4 wounds, so not the best of attacks. Then Nick sensibly interrupted and killed it by dealing it 12 damage with his Death Dread and stole the victory point from out from under my fingers. Poor old Trajan Valorous at the back here was left swinging his axe at nothing because he couldn't even consolidate into range. So that went really badly for me. I really needed to kill that for the extra victory point. Over here, the middle section went quite well. I pushed up forwards with my Sister Silence, getting out of their Rhino, and this squad here moved up as well. I fired from both of those squads and from this Rhino, and fired over at the looters Nick had positioned. I killed 8 of them. You can see Nick has rolled a 1 on his blooming leadership, because he's fine, and he rolled a 1 over here as well, so no leadership losses for Nick this turn. But that left the big mech up there, without a squad with 3 models within 3 inches, meaning I could target him freely. So I had my bikes here with their melter missiles. I fired a single melter missile into the big mech, killing him, and then I fired 2 melter missiles into the shock junk dragster. I managed to deal it 4 damage. So that was pretty good. My hurricane bolter over here I think took out some of the looters as well. So that was all well and good. I'd positioned my Rhino here just in case the dragon, which as it has wings can fly out of combat and still charge later in the turn. It burned down an Ork bike and then unfortunately flew back towards my lines. I was really hoping it would go for those guns over there and then charged in, but I'd positioned my Rhino and my bikes in this way for a reason. So I'd thought that I could use the special Custodes bike strat, which lets me charge in when an opponent has done a charge. But unfortunately, I had misremembered it, and you can only do it in the opponent's charge phase, not when the opponent charges. And because it was actually my charge phase, couldn't play the strat, so the dragon got to deal an entire 1 wound to my Rhino. And that was my turn. Not the best, could have been worse.
End of turn 2 for the Orks. Not as eventful turn this time. The big mechs and looters shot at and killed one of the jet biker dudes. The dragon has randomly, because I did ignored the dragon this turn. There were talks of what monsters am I going to go for this turn, but the dragon randomly moved over and has charged in and eaten a load of boys. Not a lot I could have really done with that. I shot up a couple of bikers, Pain Boy, and the boys that were there. Come up with shot and killed a couple of Sisters of Battle. The Death Dread come running around the side and has charged into the unit of Custodes here. We took 1 out.
Yeah, you did a lot of wounds.
I did a lot of wounds. Curly failed the first save, command point reroll, failed, killed the next one, and then made all his saves afterwards. Otherwise, I could have killed.
You could have killed all of them with
Yeah.
your roll.
So
Flat 3 damage is the best damage to use versus Custodes.
yeah, that was unfortunate there. The boys out here and the big shooter on that had a couple of pot shots at the Banner dude there because he was a character, but he was not in range of any of his other things. I did no damage to him, but I had nothing else to shoot at, which was did it. These boys come wandering up to the cliff bit here. The shock attack done. Jumped over in the corner here. We shot. We managed to deal 1 wound to the Carnosaur, and then we used the stratagem to jump it behind.
It was
the
a
thing.
brilliant tactical move by Nick, I must say, using the monster rules to drag it towards me.
So I dragged it. I was just out of charge range from the monster, so it had to charge into the Custodes.
And what happened, Nick?
I did 1 wound to a damn Storm Shield Custo, and
I did 5
back to it. So yeah, it was a good idea, but unfortunately didn't quite pay off as I wanted it to. But that was it basically for my turn. And the
Chaos Wind is whipping up.
as they're doing the video again. Right, let's see how the Custodes respond in their turn 2.
Okay. The Golden Heroes of the Emperor, turn 2. Okay, this one went a bit better, but still not ideal. So what happened? Firstly, from the golden light of Borealis, the squad of Alaris Terminators arrived down here. I was 9 inches away from that, 9 inches away from the Carnosaur, and 9 inches away from the Chop Jump Dragster down here. I came down, fired everything at the Dragster, because it deals quite a lot of damage. I wanted to deal with it. Managed to hit it, managed to kill it. Wasted a load of firepower. I really overkilled it, but I wanted to make sure. I then did a 9-inch charge with my 3d6 from the Golden Light. Failed it, spent a command point, failed it. Wasn't best. So then we moved on to other combats over here. My line had pushed forwards, and I think due to Nick losing his war boss this corner early on in the game, he was quite weakened over here, and there's not much that threatens me. So I moved my sisters down here. They have moved in and have started doing the recover trophy action. So they just moved in, didn't do anything else this turn. They're cutting open that trophy, and if they are still here at the end of Nick's turn, so the start of my next turn, I get a victory point, or 2 in fact. My bikes all moved forward. These bikes moved over to here, shot at the Ruckatuk Squig Wagon, did nothing with the melter missiles, even though I threw a command point at it to try and get it. Didn't work. The captain on bike, he was a lot better though. He moved in, he put some wounds on the dragon. These moved in, put some wounds on the dragon as well in combat. Took it down to 5 wounds, and it's really tough. So quite pleased with that. The captain also shot and killed the remaining 2 looters. There was a squad of bikes there that Nick had. I took them out with smattered fire from some of the Custodes over here. Then this squad did a large multi-charge. They'd moved forward to be in the middle of all their targets, so I charged the Dread, I charged the Knob Biker who was remaining, and I charged the Pain Boy. I'm still in combat with the Pain Boy. I did him 3 wounds. I killed the Knob Biker, and I killed the Death Dread before it could strike. Nick's Ork Knob snapped back. No, the Knob snapped back at the Custodes, dealing 3 wounds, but I tanked them all on my Storm Shield with 1 wound left, so that was handy. Trajan moved forward but didn't get to do anything because his targets had died. Over here, the Vexilla has moved forward and is also cutting into this beast, attempting to retrieve its trophy, which is nice. So then we moved on to, in the fight phase, the monsters get to attack, and they got to attack before me in the thingy phase. So we randomised which monster would attack, and the dragon attacked first. Then we randomised who it would attack, because we can all hurt it, and none of us are particularly good at killing it, it seems. It attacked the Orc boys and did a number on them. Nick, you need to do a morale check. No, he's never another one. And then over here, I managed to take a go, and I took the Carnosaur down to 1 wound. It then snapped back and did nothing to me, missing because its weapon skill has really gone downhill when it's on 1 wound. And that was the end of my turn. I only gained 1 victory point. I put 2 monsters on a small amount of wounds. So Nick may be able to pull something out of the bag here. He has 20 Gretchen. And the Christmas Gretchen.
And a Runt Herd.
And a Runt Herd in reserve, who can come on the table edges. So who knows what is going to happen now.
End of turn 3 for the Orcs, and it is taking a slight turn for the worse, but I am still ahead, but only for a matter of time, I believe. So the big guns this time only had to fire at the Rhino and failed miserably because they can't. It's harder to hit a Rhino for a vehicle and doing wounds against the vehicle with them. The Dragon flew out of combat and come around the back and flew and went straight back into the boys. Yep. It only cares about eating boys.
It does, yeah.
And finished up all of them. So it was out of combat with everything else. So nothing has actually hurt the dragon this turn.
Nope.
My Gretchen all came along the sideboard here.
To line her up.
My Squig Buggy, they all shot at the sisters because I needed to try and take the sisters out, and as well as the try and do some damage on the other guy against the spider who was trying to claim the body. I managed to only kill 2 of the sisters, and unfortunately put me out of charge range as well.
Your rocket truck did not fire well that turn, did it?
No. It was unfortunate, but yeah, I was hoping to kill the 3 sisters just to stop them claiming that, which
that gave me 2 VP, which I really needed to
get
a bit of a hold back in the game.
Meganobs and the War Boss got out of the truck this turn. The War Boss come running in and ripped apart the.
I tried to tangle foot you to reduce your charge by 7 inches.
Yep. and I only
Chain
needed
foot and
an
terrain.
yeah, and I rolled an 8-inch charge and
You
managed
needed
it
the
with
one.
one inch. Got in and, as I say, ripped him apart in with his storm
Yep.
shield. The Mega Knobs went into these guys, hoping just to do maybe a bit of damage. I did
I mean,
one.
they did do a bit, literally a single bit.
I did a wound, and then they got butchered by them. The shooters and the slugger choppers. We killed the Carnosaur.
God, I'm so annoying.
So I got 2 victory points, one for dealing a wound to a monster, which obviously killed
And you
that
killed
one.
my Storm Shield dude.
And I killed the Storm Shield dude with the Custodes.
Oh, we do need to do morale for you, but we'll do that after camera.
And then the Slugger Choppers went charging into the Custodes, because the Custodes, they're only going to stand there and try and claim that corpse. So I just do a round of shooting, but he's Orcs, so I charged him. I don't have a lot left on the board, which is my problem. I just can't damage the Custodes at all, really.
They
I
are
haven't really.
pretty...
They are tough.
I mean, that's what they do. They are tough as very
Yeah.
old, very tough boots.
Yeah, so I literally have got Gretchen, some guns, 1 buggy, a couple of units of boys,
You
and a
have
war
killed
boss.
4 of my Custodes, Nick. I mean, 5.
Five.
That is like an awful
Yeah.
high percentage of the actual Custodes in the galaxy.
Unfortunately, I'm only 1 ahead on the victory points at the moment. It's only 5-4, and I do fear Curly will probably kill the dragon, claiming 2 victory points there.
That is my hope.
I assume he's probably going to bring a unit up here to claim this, and then charge me into combat with something, so it stops me from killing that unit. And whether or not he tries just claiming that and see whether he survives mine. And then,
that is my plan.
unfortunately, I think this is the turn where Curly will overtake me and probably win it from there. But we shall see.
It is the end of Custodes turn 3. So what happened here? So in the centre here we had a war boss. We basically spread out. Our Allarus Custodians went over this way in a little arc. That's after they've charged. And these 2 squads moved up this way. We then fired all of our bolt guns and stuff into the war boss and killed him with bolt guns. The ignominy. I basically didn't want to charge him so Nick could fight on death and kill me back.
You get a victory point for killing Warlord.
Oh, I did, yeah. Trajan, he was on 2 wounds left. Trajan lowered his Guardian Spear and blew him apart. I then fired all the grenades as well from my Terminators and whittled down this squad using the new blast rules because there were 12 of them. I got 18 shots with my grenade launchers. That was pretty good. And at that point, we called the game because over here, my Custodes are going to kill those Orks. The Allarus are in combat with both of those. We didn't roll it. They're going to kill them both. The Rucker Truck I shot with 2 Melter missiles, did it 8 damage, leaving it on 1. So I charged in with those Custodes there and killing it. And then all 3 of my bikes charged in and killed the dragon after I had shot and wiped out one of the squads of Gretchen. And that was game. Nick took an early lead with the shooty Orks. I think it was because I managed to, up here, I was really worried about them killing my bikes, who are one of my key pieces. And getting that rhino in there, I think it's then a really Hobson's choice for you. What do? Do you stay in combat and try and kill it? I think you've got an okay chance of killing it in combat with your shooting from your heavy weapons.
Depends on how many shots you get with the heavy
Yeah,
weapons.
you didn't roll very well,
I
and then
didn't
you
roll
missed with all of them.
Yeah.
And then the centre bit, I think, because your Orcs had gone round there and stolen that victory point there, and I was worried at that point. If you had killed that sister, I think that could have been a different game.
Yes, it was. If the last turn, if I'd killed that sister.
Yeah.
I mean, we've ended it at 7-5.
Yeah.
To yourself. If I'd killed that sister, you at the moment would be 5-all.
Yep.
You would have had that. If you hadn't killed the dragon, then I'd have had a chance of stealing the dragon kill. I still think overall you would have won because the troops were just whittling down too much. After your first round, I lost a lot of my shooting.
I very much first round concentrated. I wanted to kill this monster that was here to start, the Stegodon, and because you'd have gone for that, I was left with a bit of firepower here. So I decided at that point to kill your stuff that could really do a number on my Custodes.
I had a lot of D6 damage or
your
3
shock
damage
attack gun and your shock jump dragster were my 2 prime targets. They were number 1 deaths, and then I felt I had to deal with these. But the trick of getting the Rhino, locking all 3 in combat, that was really useful.
Obviously, first time you've played with Custodes, first time I've fought against Custodes.
Yeah, they are tough as old boots, aren't they?
Yeah. Orc boys, no. I mean, the Meganobs, I know they were your hardest unit. The Meganobs may have done something to the others, but I did 1 wound. Okay, 3 Meganobs, but and I hit with all my attacks. It's not as if I missed with attacks.
And I didn't play really any of the super defensive stratagems.
No.
So yeah, I mean, you think you need really specific weapons, like your war boss, I was terrified of because he does
Yeah.
flat 3 damage or flat 4 damage. He was
flat
dealing.
4 damage in the first round, but
Yeah.
it's flat 3 normally.
And that just
of the relics,
cuts through Custodes. And
Yeah.
similar to the Carnosaur, I was really scared because I thought he would do it.
Yeah.
But mortal wounds are one of the things that really deal with Custodes. That's why I really had to take care of the shock attack gun because he
Yeah.
can do
He
mortals.
can do mortal wounds. So
But yeah, the Golden Host were really, really tough. Interesting to use, really different to any other army I've played due to they don't really have much long range. I've only really got one proper anti-tank weapon in the salvo launchers from these, which are not bad anti-tank.
Yeah.
That's 3 shots in the whole army, and the rest of it is just relying on charging. But they're good versus every target. There's nothing they're not good at fighting, which I suppose is
yeah.
what they're supposed to be like.
I mean, I liked my new way of having my Orks. I mean, having the mech guns actually back in.
Yeah, I think
Smash one stage
you were
there.
saying at the start of the game that your looters were your most expensive unit.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd have them back in.
I think you have to I think you have to play with the Gretchen
Yeah.
and the stratagem to make me shoot the Gretchen first.
Yeah, I think there is.
But I think the game also showed quite key. I made a mistake at one point. I charged in letting you shoot my character, but mine survived.
Yeah.
But the new rule of you have to have a unit within 3 inches was quite key because I killed the looters down to 2 models, then killed your shock attack gun.
Yes, it was.
Which is quite interesting. One of the little tweaks of the new edition, similar with the multi-charge rule we used a couple of times.
I'd potentially take looters again against Custodes just because they do 2 damage.
Yeah.
It's the extra damage. Most things you only need to do 1 damage to kill most things, so they're not something I'd probably take again. I might try flash kits or try a different shoot thing. I wanted the looters because they.
I think the best versus Custodes of the Orc units would be the tank busters. They strength 8, flat 3 damage, -2 to my save, so that takes me to my invulnerable. I think they've got one of the perfect profiles for shooting Custodes.
I think big shock attack gun with the mech guns there. I think with the shock attack gun hiding behind, so you can't. You in with them. I think would be a better option.
Yep. And one thing to think about with tank busters is they can go in a transport and fire out of the top of it.
Yeah.
So tank busters in a battle wagon against Custodes, they struggle to kill a battle wagon.
Yeah.
In combat or out of combat. So a useful thing to try.
Yeah.
But what do we think of the monsters? I mean, your tactic of murderize all the monsters. I mean, I was pretty scared of it early on when you killed 2 of them.
I killed 3 monsters.
You killed that one as well. You stole that one.
I killed 3 out of 4 of the monsters.
Yeah, you did. I quite like the action thing. That's the first time we've played a mission with actions in.
Yeah, I like that because we can integrate that in even in like the Zone Mortalis where we always have computer terms.
Yeah, it gives it. We've always done kind of like a special thing of be there and try and hold it, but now it's got an actual rule to it, and the rule's quite good because you don't get to do anything, but you do still get to fight off. So I think they might have done, but I like that rule. I can see that being very thematic in games as well. Say if there's a flag to hold, or
a lot of our missions are made up ones and make up, and it's
things like proposing to Saint Celestine, stuff like that. It could be an action where you have to get down on one knee and such. I was getting married the next week. Okay, so I think that's us, guys. Thank you for joining us out in the sunny weather. It didn't rain, unbelievably, being England.
Just windy.
Yeah, it was a bit windy. The terrain, this bit of terrain took a tumble, so it's not on the table anymore, and the rest of it has moved around, but we survived and we played a game.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching all. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.